Hello, welcome back to my channel. I've been getting quite a few new subscribers, and so if this is the first video you're watching of mine, my name's Emily. I'm from Edinburgh and I make videos on anxiety. I suffer with anxiety pretty badly and I have done for many years. Panic attacks, phobias, OCD. I've kind of been through a lot of different anxiety things, and I like to talk about it on this channel and share my experiences, and I love talking to people about it. So if you've got any questions or video ideas or things you'd like to see me talk about, then please let me know. Today I'm going to be talking about panic attacks. I've actually not had a panic attack in about a month, so it's kind of scary to say because I worry if I say it then one's going to happen. I know that's silly, but like, it's just the worst thing ever is having a panic attack. It's horrible. Panic attacks feel very different for different people. I used to have panic attacks where I felt like I was going to swallow my tongue or faint, and now my panic attacks feel more, they're about nausea and my stomach and all that kind of stuff. So panic attacks are very different for different people. I haven't had one in a month, and I think the things that I'm going to talk about today are part of the reason why I haven't had a panic attack in a long time. So firstly, I wanted to say that I am on medication. I am on citalopram, 30 milligrams of that, and I also have emergency medication, which I'm going to talk about a bit more later. So I'm also in therapy. I speak to my therapist once every couple of weeks on the phone because I don't feel able to go to her place yet because it's a little bit far for me. But both of those things, I think, definitely have a positive impact and definitely help with anxiety and panic and all that kind of stuff. So disclaimer, they're the two things that I think if you're not already, you should definitely think about. You should maybe research, you should maybe think about different therapists in your area, all that kind of stuff I think would be helpful. The first thing I'm going to say is although I've not had a panic attack in about a month, I have felt panic coming. I felt anxious, I've had anxious thoughts and all that kind of stuff, and I have felt the rise of panic coming. I get this kind of like numb, warm feeling all over my body, which is kind of like the sign of panic attack is coming. And that's happened once or twice, and when that's happened, I have said, you can come panic, absolutely, come into my body, take over if you want to. I'm not scared of having a panic attack, I'm not scared of this. That seems to have really helped because I'm kind of inviting it in. When you fight panic attack, that is when it's going to get really bad. If you try and fight the symptoms, if you try and push it away, if you start getting really anxious and freaking out about the fact that you're having a panic attack, your panic attack is going to get much worse and it's going to take you longer to get past the panic attack. So the first thing that I would say 100% is invite the panic. Say it's okay, if you want to come, you can come. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait till it passes and I'm going to breathe, and if you want to panic, then panic can happen. Although none of us want that to happen, none of us actually want to have a panic attack. Nobody wants that, it's the worst. If you invite the panic attack in, it's almost like it tricks it, or because you're not scared of the panic goes away. Or it definitely is less anyway. Secondly, know that nothing bad can happen from a panic attack. There isn't really any like long-term physical health things that happen from panic attacks. My panic thing is being sick. I don't think I've ever been sick from a panic attack, touch wood. A lot of people feel faint. Very few people faint when they have panic attacks. You feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. I don't think anyone's had a heart attack from having a panic attack. All the physical symptoms are very real. They are symptoms that are happening, but it's very unlikely that you'll be sick or have a heart attack or anything bad will actually happen from the panic. It is just your body going, oh my god, I need help. Even if you are in a really, really bad panic attack, know that it's going to pass. Every single panic attack you've had, I've had a lot of panic attacks. I'm not having one right now. Panic attacks stop. Even if it takes a really long time, and even if you feel like it's never going to go away, panic attacks stop at some point. So know that even though it's really, really bad at that moment and you're feeling really awful and really shit, know that at some point it's going to stop and you're going to be okay. That always helps me get through panics when they happen. Another thing is to talk to your anxiety. This is something I've been working on with my therapist, and it's kind of talking to the part of you that is very anxious, the part of you that's really scared about having a panic attack. Talk to it and listen to it, and don't just shove it away. If you shove anxiety away, if you say, I don't want you, go away, it's going to keep coming back. You need to kind of learn to work with your anxiety and say, okay, I know this is an anxious situation, or I know that I'm feeling anxious about this right now, but let's talk about why I'm feeling anxious, and let's talk about the ways in which I can do this with my anxiety. I know it feels a little unsafe, but together we can do it. We can do things like wear a swimming costume under our clothes so it's quicker. We can decide, okay, I'm only going to go in for 20 minutes, and then after that I'm going to come out even if I'm feeling okay, or I'm going to see how I feel and then play it by ear. All these kinds of things, they really help with panic, because if you know you've got safety in place, if you know that you have done something in order to make yourself feel safer in these situations, it's much less likely that panic is going to come, because you have put in place something that makes you safe. Panic can feel very random, but it's usually linked to the body and the mind, and I've been reading Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig, which is an amazing book. It's so good. It's probably one of the best books I've read in a really long time. It's just so great, and he talked about how the body and the mind are completely linked. They are completely linked. It's like when you go on a first date and you have butterflies, it's your brain saying, oh, we're nervous. When you're feeling hungry even, it's your brain sending a signal saying, we need to eat something so we can fuel this body. Your brain and your body are so linked, and so if you're not looking after your body, if you're not having rest, if you're not drinking enough, if you are not doing exercise, doing too much exercise, whatever it is, it's going to have negative effects on your mind. And the same way with your mind, if you are not exercising your mind in the right way, if you are filling your life with toxic things, or if you are not looking after your brain as well as you could be, it'll have negative effects on your body, and they're just so completely linked. And so I think being aware of your thoughts, even when you're feeling not panicky, being aware of how am I feeling today, checking in with yourself. In the same way, checking in with your body. Are you in any pain in your body? Do you need the toilet? When was the last time you went to the toilet? Have you drank anything today? When was the last time you had a piece of fruit? All of these things, obviously they can't completely alleviate panic from eating a satsuma, but it's just the basic thing of looking after your mind and your body, because they're so linked. Hopefully it leads to less panic, or it makes you feel better. My next thing is to do the little things and trust the process. I've often felt like I have been doing all these little things for such a long time, and what's the point? Are they going to help? And I mean this by, okay, me going to the shop across the road at one point was very difficult for me, and now it's not so difficult for me. Me sitting in a cafe on my own used to be really difficult for me, but it's not anymore. But I can't do things like go on a bus and go shopping half an hour away, because I worry I'll have a panic attack or something bad will happen. I don't feel bad about that. Don't make yourself feel bad about the things that you don't feel able to do right now. Trust that once you've conquered these little things, and once the little things are in place, you will work up to these things. You can't jump into the deep end, and you can't push yourself into anxious situations that are too much. Something I've talked about before is doing like a fear ladder, of writing down something that's really easy, but that's something that's really manageable but might be a little bit difficult, but is very, very manageable and you know you can do it. Try and work on those things first, and then the things that are really big, don't even think about them. Don't worry about them. If you do the little things, it might feel like they're unrelated to the bigger things, but it's growing your confidence, it's making you feel able, it's making you feel more independent, and eventually that will lead to good things, and do the bigger things. The last thing I want to talk about was emergency medication, and by this I mean Valium, diazepam, whatever it is in your country or where you stay that that doctors prescribe. They are very, very, very funny about prescribing Valium because it's addictive, but in certain circumstances, if you're somebody that has severe panic disorder, they usually will give you some form of Valium. They gave me some for a while and now they've stopped prescribing it, even though I disagree with it, and that's another video I could make if you wanted to hear about that really annoying time. In certain circumstances, and if you get the right doctor and all of these kinds of things, you can get emergency medication. And for me, while it's not the best medication, it doesn't completely alleviate panic. It can do certain things and it can help a little bit. And I think knowing that it's there, not having to take it unless you're in a real crisis situation where you really need something to help you, I think having it just there, knowing it's there, can make you feel less panicked. Again, it's unfortunate the way the system works, in Scotland anyway, and that they don't always listen to the patient. They kind of do a generalised, this is what we don't want to prescribe this to people with anxiety. They don't always take into consideration that individual person. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but if you can get that medication, if you're really suffering with severe panic, then I think go for it, and you don't even have to take it. It's not something you take on a regular basis. It's something that you take when you're really, really not having a good day. So that's also perhaps an option. So that is all the kind of tips that I have. Keeping busy if you can as well is really helpful. I found that even if I'm feeling really, really bad, if I sit all day and don't do much, I will probably feel worse. Even if it's kind of forcing yourself even just to go to your front door and get some exercise, or opening the window, going for a short walk. There's so many little things you could do around your house too, that usually does help somewhat. But I'm really sorry you're suffering with panic attacks, because it's just awful. It's really, really hard. And I wish that we all could meet up in real life and talk about it, because it can feel very lonely and very scary as well. But you're taking steps. By watching this video, you're taking a step to try and improve it, and I think you're really, really, really brave for getting through it, and carrying on when it's really hard. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye!